This video is for educational purpose only. We don't promote or support any illegal activities, and we're strictly bound to YouTube's policies.
So, hello team. In our last session, we were discussed about the basics of scanning, like what is scanning and what are the tools we are using for scanning, and what are all the scan types and what are the scan techniques we were using, and why we need to perform scanning and all. So, in today's session, we are about to practically do the scanning process. So, I hope in your machines we already configured the Kali Linux operating system as well as the Metasploitatble 2. So here Kali Linux operating system is the attacker machine and Metasploitatble 2 is the victim machine. So we are literally going to scan the victim machine, that is Metasploitatble 2, with our Kali Linux operating system. So as per this meeting notes, as per this descriptions, we are about to see each scanning and scan techniques. So let's go ahead. So I am using a Windows based operating system. So I am using VMware Workstation. If you are using Mac system, you have to go for UTM or parallel, any kind of softwares for virtualization. So in this machine, I already configured the Kali Linux. You can see that. I'll quickly log into this machine. And then I am having my Metasploitatble 2 configured within this machine. So this is my Metasploitatble 2. Here you can see I didn't log in yet. I simply just now imported the operating system. So let us copy paste the meeting notes first for our convenience. I'll simply copy it and pasting it inside my Kali Linux. Let's look at it here. Okay, so as per the architecture, we are having the Kali Linux and the Metasploitatble 2 running here. So the next step, let's practically see that. So consider that we are right now in an actual network. It could be anything, any company you are going into, and you are going to perform a white box testing, which means the company people, the client, they are going to give you a connection to the network, whether it could be a Wi-Fi or whether it could be a LAN cable. They will allow you to connect your laptop to their network. And the very first thing you have to do is you have to understand their subnet. How can I understand the subnet of a network? So you can simply open your terminal and write a command ifconfig. So this will provide you the IP address of this particular machine. So for in case this particular VMware workstation called Linux, we are having a virtual Ethernet connection, and the IP address of this machine is this one. And then we are having our net mask. So net mask is 255.255.255.0, which means it is using /24 subnet. So we have discussed this basic subnets and what is the subnet mask, net mask, and all in our networking sessions. So based on this one, I can understand they are using this particular subnet. So for an example, let me just illustrate this one. I'll quickly open new notepad. From here, I just understand the subnet. So I'll simply copy this and I'm pasting it here. And since it is 255.255.255.0, they are using /24, which means this first three octet, as kindly omit this one is a line number. You should not consider this. Let me give a tab. Okay. So they are using a subnet 192.168.177.1/24, which means this first three octet will be static. And within this network, they can connect 0 to 254 device size. It's 254 because 255 is known as a broadcast address. So it could be like, I can say, instead of I can write this, I can also write like 192.168. Sorry, 177.0-254. So I can write like this as well as I can write like this. Okay, so now we identified the subnet of a network. So the next step is I have to understand, I have to know what are all the systems connected within this network. So for an example, I am using this VMware workstation virtual network. Let me power it on some other operating system I have. So right now I powered on my Kali Linux and Metasploitatble too. So I am having another operating system, Windows 7, for the lab purposes. So this is not a mandatory one, you need to have it. So, but the thing is, once we are having multiple devices, it is more we can relatable to. So let me power it on this one. And then I am having one Windows 10 operating system. I'll just power it on too. So that while we perform the scanning, we can get much more results, so that you can understand this could be the possibility of scanning. So now my Windows 7 is powered on here. And my Windows 10 here. Okay. So now you see inside my VMware workstation, this is actually a virtual environment. So I am having 4 systems running. So one is Kali Linux, and then Metasploitatble 2, Windows 7, and Windows 10. These are all optional devices, optional operating systems. So the minimum requirement is Kali Linux, that is an attacker, and one victim, that is Metasploitatble 2. Okay, now let's identify what are all the devices connected within this particular virtual network using the scanner, which is Nmap. So I'll open the terminal here. Let me. Okay. So right now, let me give a clear command and I'll simply type Nmap. So I simply type Nmap and give enter. So this will print what are all the arguments available within the Nmap tool. So basically, this is not only for Nmap, any Linux command that you want to run. So you simply run the command without any arguments, that will print the help message. So you can simply read this help message and you can perform the activity. So in this case, this is the help message for Nmap scanning tool. So just in case if you forget something, some kind of scanning, or what is the argument, let's say if you want to perform any aggressive scan, so you can simply search where is this, and you can simply choose which argument you want to do that. So okay, so the very first thing, let me break it up here for you. Okay. So the first thing is subnet identification. So that we have done it using the ifconfig command. And the second one we are going to do is identifying devices. Identifying the devices. So it could be any devices within this network, we can identify it. So how can we do that? So in order to identify the devices, we are going to use a couple of techniques. So one is ping scan and another one is ping sweep scan. In the borderline, we can say both the scan technique is same. So it is using the ICMP. I was explaining it in the previous session. So let us do that in practical way. Okay, so I am executing a command nmap space the IP address. So any IP address range. So here in case, our IP address range is this one, and I'm pasting this here. And along with that, I am giving one argument, that is hyphen small s small n. So this particular argument instructs the Nmap tool. I want to know what are all the connected devices within the particular network. So this is a ping sweep scan, which means I am trying to identify all the devices, or whichever the devices available or online in this particular subnet. So let me just give enter. Okay. So now you can see this. So we got some result. So this particular result says total 256 IP addresses are scanned. So why, as I mentioned earlier, so within the octet, it should be 0 to 255. Then how it could be 256? Because it is considering 0 as well. So 1 to 255, it's 255 IP addresses consist of 0 as well. That is why it is telling it is 256 IP addresses scanned totally, and it is telling 7 hosts. A host here it is mentioned device. It could be anything, like we simply identified the active IP addresses, but still I don't know whether it's a Windows 7, 10, IP camera, whatever it could be within a network. So I don't know exactly. It simply says there are 7 hosts up right now. So this is known as ping sweep scan. So what is ping scan? So let me just to show you that. So the command is pretty much same. The concept wise is pretty much different. So it is telling 192.168.177.1 is up. I am copying this IP address and I'm running the command once again. So the command is the same command, nmap space, the IP address -sn. So the command is the same, but the difference is instead of scanning the entire subnet we did earlier, which had /24, I am using just an IP address and give enter. So once I gave enter, you can see, so the total IP addresses scanned is one IP address, and it is telling the one host is up. So this is ping scan. So ping scan is scanning particularly one IP address for to get to know whether the IP address is alive or not. Whereas ping sweep scan is completely different. It is like enumerating all the alive IP addresses. So this is the second step, that is identify devices. So I just cleared the terminal. Anyways, let me run the ping sweep scan once again so that we can get to know what are all the available IP addresses right now. Okay, so these are all the IP addresses. So not only IP addresses, this ping scan will give. This will give you the MAC addresses of the particular system. So what is a MAC address? So basically any network cards, NIC card we can say. So whether it's a Wi-Fi or LAN cable or whatever it is, any network card will have a unique identification number, the unique identification address, that is known as MAC address. We can say it's a media access control address. Okay, so this will be also enumerated by this particular scanning process. Okay, so let us quickly move on to the next step. So now we identify 7 devices. Now I am going to pick up one IP address. So you could see I was having Windows 7, Windows 10, Metasploitatble. Now I have to choose one target so that we can perform active analysis or active scanning of that one particular device. So just in case, let me choose the IP address of the Metasploitatble here. So in order to find the IP address, I can intrusively directly get the IP address of Metasploitatble 2 from Nmap. But still, if I am going to do it, you will get confused. So I am directly picking up the IP address from here, the Metasploitatble 2 machine. Because we were having 7 IP addresses, and I don't know exactly which one the Metasploitatble 2 IP. So before getting into intrusive scan directly, I'll simply make it more simple. So let me directly log into this machine. So for the Metasploitatble machine, the username is msfadmin and the password is also msfadmin. I am typing msfadmin, enter, and here I am typing msfadmin once again. So the username and password, you can see it's been already written here. Login with to get started. So you can read it in just in case if you forget it. And here, let me check the IP address of this machine. I'm giving ifconfig. Okay. So you can see the IP address of this particular Metasploitatble 2 is 177.133. So that is going to be our target. So let me going back to Kali Linux and let's see if this IP address is detected or not. It's 133. Yeah, you can see this IP address has been detected. This is the IP address of a Metasploitatble 2. So we are going to perform the intrusive scan of this particular IP address now. So let me copy it and making it as target. So I'll mark it as target is going to be this IP address. Okay. So the third step is port scan. Okay, so in after you choose your target, you have to identify what are all the ports available on that particular target. So without any open ports, you cannot enter into the machine. So we should have any door should be open. So each port is known as doors. So if all the doors are closed, no one can enter into the particular machine. So we should have at least a single port to extract data or getting the access of a particular machine. So let us see how we can do the port scans. So I'm giving clear, typing nmap and the IP address. So the IP address I want to do the port scan, and I am adding a parameter -p, and I simply press enter. Okay, no. Okay, it mandates the arguments. So in this particular -p, I can give any one port, or I can give a set of ports. For an example, if I want to know if the port number 80 is opened on the target or not, I can only specify the port number 80. So if now I am giving enter, you can see, so we got the result. It is showing the port number 80, the state is open, which means the port number 80 on that particular target, the target IP address is this one, is open. And what is the service? This is the HTTP service is running. So in case I don't want to know one port is open or not, I just want to know set of port is opened. So in case I can give a particular port range. For an example, I want to know from 1 to 100. So the total port numbers is 65,535. So out of that particular port range, I can give any range like this. So 1 to 100. So let me give enter. Now you can see, so for the recent command, it is showing one port, that is 80 only opened. Okay, because I specified particularly the port number 80. But here I specified 1 to 100, which means I am literally scanning 101 port, including the one. So these are all the open ports within the range. Let's say I'm not going to give particular range. So I want to scan the complete port. So all the 65,535 ports I want to scan. There are two methods I can follow. One is I can give the range here 65,535. So I can give like this and enter. So now this will the scanning will be performed for all the 65,535 ports, and you can see the output time is pretty much different. So for the first scan and the second scan and third scan, you can simply understand the output timing because the port range is different. So you can see now. So for the last command, that is for 65,535 ports. So these many number of ports are opened on that particular Metasploitable 2 VM. So instead of giving like this, you can also follow one more easy way, that is -p-. So you can give like this. So which means you want to scan all the ports, that is 65,535 ports. I'll give enter. So both the commands are same. So either you can give like this or like the previous command, which is the complete range along with the -p module. Okay. So this is the simple port scan. So we have performed port scans with one port. We have scanned one port. Then we scanned set of port, the port range we gave. And then we have scanned the complete port. So all the ports we have scanned.